Hello, sleepyheads. It's time for another edition of Unintentional Style ASMR. I'm really excited to do this. I've just been waiting until I had the time because even though it's really easy and a lovely way to film these little clips, to collect them, it takes a little longer to edit them together. I feel like for so many of them, I'm just sitting in my car or just walking around my apartment, but that's reality. I've been thinking about how I know that we focus a lot on the way that social media says that we need to have, we need to look a certain way, but also that we need to have a certain amount of money and be doing a lot of acquisition. But even just the way people portray themselves, like always out and about, even if it's affordable and even if it's not about body image stuff, just this idea that you're always in different places, always up to something, when for most people life is lived in mostly the same locations, like the sets of our lives. If you think of like Friends and how like most of it's happening in like Monica's apartment or Central Perk or Chandler and Joey's apartment. And even though those apartments themselves are not realistic because they're huge in New York City, I know that Monica has that loophole, like it's her grandmother's rent-controlled apartment, but what about Joey and Chandler? I don't think that Joey moved in like so long ago. We don't have time for this, but like make it make sense because their apartment's really big too. So yeah, even though those apartments specifically are really aspirational, I do think that there is a normalcy to the depiction of just like, yeah, you spend most of your time in the same places over and over again. And that's the case for me. So I know there's this idea that on our deathbeds, we're gonna like really wish we'd traveled more and like been more places and seen more things. But time is finite and that sucks all around. And you may also miss your bed. Who knows what we'll miss, like maybe you'll wish that you'd traveled the world and had time for more days in the same bed that you have right now, that cozy bed. Just a few more afternoons at home, a few more zonk outs in your car, like I think I'll miss all of it. And that helps me to cope with this idea that I'm supposed to be doing more. Life is happening right here, right now. If you're like me and you're like living your life in the same few settings over and over, that's normal. So I'm gonna put less pressure on myself to give you like a diversity of settings. Also, I think it's funny because the filter does some stuff. Yeah, it does some stuff when I move side to side. I just liked the kind of graininess of it. You may be like, Remy, why do you use filters if you're on camera all the time, always under a bright light? Like, we know what you look like without filters. I think they're fun. I don't know, I like the visual interest. And also, if I'm using them in my apartment specifically, that's because I live in a hobbit hole. The lighting in my apartment is terrible. And I will not apologize for a little filter action to make me feel better about taking videos in there, because again, that's where I spend the majority of my time. So dark, just like a little, even though there's treetops, like it's just the light doesn't get in. I can't explain it. I like this filter. I think I'm showing great restraint by not putting the lashes on. I love big honking lashes. And this filter has an option. I think it does blush and lips anyway, but you can have it not do too much to your nose. I think it's just a little bit of contour, and not do your eyes. Or you can have it to your eyes. Hold on. It's a bit much. But I love it. I love it so much. I got distracted. I forgot what I was doing, which was introducing the video. So yeah, follow me around for a little this, a little that. I think this video overall is going to be shorter. The last few have been like an hour a piece, which I'm sure is nice in its own way, but probably better to just be able to do it more often, right? So yeah, follow me around for a bit of this, a bit of that. Starting with today, pretty mellow day so far, if you can't tell. I had like an hour-long phone call with my friend this morning, my friend who lives in New York, and then I filmed 2 self-tapes like I had submitted for a couple projects. types and then got requests back for self-types. And now I'm gonna check a video export for glitches, hopefully upload it to YouTube, just a short object ASMR video. And then I'm going to start editing a new longer video, and then I'm gonna tutor for a little bit this afternoon, and then we'll see where the evening takes me. Probably to the couch. Let's be honest. It's time to water our fiddle leaf fig. This is Sticks. And about every 10 days I give him 2 cups of water with 2 different kinds of food mixed in. One to prevent root rot, and the other is just for his basic nutrition. Sometimes I like to water him down his, went out of focus, down his trunk, because I feel like that would, I don't know, simulate what it's like when it rains outdoors without the mess of it actually coming from the leaves, you know.
I don't know about you all, but when I was growing up and the kids in our neighborhood would come over for a family night, my parents would put Doritos and popcorn together in a bowl. And even though any other day we could have made the exact same thing, it was special, you know what I mean? So we didn't, and then we just got really excited when they whipped it out for family night, just as they'd programmed us to. The point of this story is this is delicious, and I'm an adult, so I can do what I want, but please don't tell my mom.
Isn't it a fun feeling starting a new product, especially when it has that perfect, well, not so perfect because we've started in on it just a little bit, but for the most part it still has that perfect sheen. Brand new. I got a couple gifts for my niece's first birthday. This is a fox puppet. Feels a little invasive, but I want to show you. An age-appropriate book, it's hard, and I thought it'd be a nice theme because, she loves foxes. Yeah, these books are good up till about 3 years old. So the fox puppet is super soft, kind of big, for that age. They recommend finger puppets, things like that, but the good news is that as they get older and older, a lot of gifts, you can just wait. It's just a waiting game for it to become age appropriate and then be quickly outgrown on the flip side. So I just gotta wrap them now. Okay, so here they are all wrapped and ready to go. This one is a little goodie for my sister. It's actually two things wrapped together. So I'm just gonna send that in a normal size envelope. And then I'm gonna need to get some sort of bubble mailer for these for my niece. Dyeing my eyebrows today. I like to do it before I shower. So this one has not been dyed yet. This one has the first round of dye, where I very carefully follow the shape of the eyebrow and I try not to get any dye on the skin underneath. Second round, I go heavier and I do push against the skin to coat each hair, so I will get dye on my skin, but I won't leave it on for as long. And then I wash it off, and then I shower. Okay, so we've got one more little coat. This is just a final touch-up. It looks kind of intense, but you'll see when I pull it off, it's not so dramatic. But you kind of want to go more dramatic to start so that you get more of a payoff and it lasts longer. Because they do fade for redheads and blondes. So this is my last layer. I already did the thick all over coat on both sides. And now I've taken whatever was left in the little glass mixing jar, little glass mixing cup, and whatever was left on the spoolie, and just went back into those little areas that can be hard to see, but maybe now they stand out more after the last couple coats. Trying to get those really fine baby hairs, especially where I tend to get kind of transparent, up here. It's dark in here because the vent is really noisy. Okay. See, much less dramatic already. So I got this powder at CVS. I had some extra bucks to spend, to use, and I figured I'd give this this powder a try, because the Coty Airspun one is not cruelty free, and the Laura Mercier, I love Laura Mercier, but it's pricey, you know, so I'm hoping that this will work just as well, and it has a teeny tiny bit of like a soft tint, which can be nice, even though translucent is the safe way to go. So we'll just have to see. We'll see how this works. Does anybody else, when they're in the process of getting a surprise together for their significant other, sometimes hide the components in very strange places? I was using my paper cutter yesterday to assemble all the elements of a card I'm making for my partner, and I ran out of time and I panicked because he was coming in the door, so I just like hid it somewhat in plain sight. I mean, kinda, sorta. No, that's not what that means. Got the sweetest cards in the store. This one is for my friend who is a cat lover. Her birthday is tomorrow. This one's just for me. As is this one. Gotta treat yourself. Okay, so I feel like the typical thing is to give an apartment tour when everything is perfectly in its place, in top condition. Our collective life, my partner and my life as exhibited through our apartment, it's a bit of a mess right now. So I'm gonna give you a messy apartment tour, just to do something a little different. So first up, some laundry that needs to be done. This is my partner's laundry. I offered to do some laundry for him today because it occurred to me that you may already know, he does a lot of cooking. I do very little and he does a lot. And I just don't like to cook. I'm not bad at it, I just really don't enjoy it. It stresses me out. And he doesn't mind doing laundry, but he just doesn't have a lot of time, especially on weeks when he's constantly on set. So I have time today, and it just occurred to me, I was like, that's that's much more fair. What if I just did his laundry more often, you know? Because he cooks almost any meals we have at home, he prepares. And after I do his laundry, I'm gonna do the couch linens. That's what I just call this purple couch cover and this comforter, this blue comforter that doesn't live on our bed. It's like an auxiliary comforter that we use on the couch or on the bed if it's particularly cold. And we call that one Blue Guy. So I'm gonna wash Blue Guy and then the couch cover. Oh, didn't even mean to do that. That was a happy accident. So my hope today is that there isn't too much competition for the one washer and the one dryer.
shared by the entire building. It is a Sunday, so I may be pushing my luck to do 2 loads today because inevitably there will be fierce competition starting around midday and throughout the rest of the afternoon. So let's go through everything that needs to happen, or as much of it as we can. This all needs to be folded. It's all clean. It's just, it toppled over. These dryer balls need to go back under the kitchen sink. This couch cover needs to be straightened, like all retucked before I put the maroon couch cover back on. Yes, I have a couch cover on top of a couch cover. That's how you stay safe. If you're wondering what my couch looks like underneath, it's gorgeous. I love the fabric so much, but you know, that's the point of the couch covers. I wouldn't use them if I didn't love the couch underneath, you know? So, never gonna see the light of day. All this needs to be dusted. I don't even know what that Trader Joe's bag is doing there. As far as I know, we usually don't even get plastic bags. So, it's a mystery on top of a mystery. And Otis is usually pretty good. The contents of this armoire, this bureau called Otis. I mean, I'm sure the drawers could use a touch-up organization, but we're doing triage today, no time. And then in general, I need to do some mopping in the areas that get really dusty. I'm looking at you, I'm looking at you, I'm looking at you under the chair, and I'm looking at by the door, and probably under the little faux mantle as well. So yeah, you're like, you just named all the areas of the entire floor. Yes, you have a point. There's a whole lot of mess happening up here, and you probably saw earlier that the wall behind these little curios from Ireland, it needs some attention with a dry eraser. I mean, not dry eraser, magic eraser. Because that works well to get these off. These little cast iron, I mean, I don't even know if that's what they are, but this kind of blackened metal that frames both these little paintings. I think they're painted. But yeah, it tends to leave black schmutz all over the wall behind them. This needs to be cleaned and needs a fresh filter. I am loath to even talk about what's going on in here. It's definitely a receptacle for some mess with which I haven't wanted to deal. Okay, again, more tabletop mess. This curtain needs to be set up. We're making a kind of self-tape station that's a little more elegant over here than the kind of paper photo studio backdrop that we're always putting up with gaffer tape, you know. Yeah, it's always a mess, and it's not super easy for me at my height to deal with, you know, a big roll of paper like that. I thought a curtain might be easier, so I have a plan involving that curtain of a similar gray to the paper that my partner really likes. I had to kind of convince him that this could work as well, because he thinks that fabric backdrops, curtain backdrops, don't tend to look as professional. So I have to make my case, prove my case, and maybe I'll follow up with you all once I see whether or not whether it turns out the way I hope. So yeah, I'm gonna use some command strips and a step ladder to make some magic. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but I used my little label maker to be like, what? We like to leave little in-jokes around the apartment like that. And this needs some Windex. And then I need to take a lint roller to the little fabric bottoms of the sliders, the little sliding cups, so this chair doesn't scuff up the floor, but they can catch kind of lint and dust on the bottom because they have those felt bottoms. So I like to lint roll those. And then, yes, clean this, put away all the little vestiges of my self-tape backdrop project. Have we ever taken a close look at the really sweet scalloped kind of seashell scroll work, the little design on this roll top? I love it. I do imagine that the mantle needs some dusting as well.
I really wish we could hide these cords once and for all. That was kind of the point of the faux mantle. Anyway, I'm gonna stop griping. Okay, so Bianca is looking pretty good. We're gonna start trying to use fewer paper towels. I mean, it's an ongoing thing, but we're gonna really try to take it to the next level by using these instead of paper towels for our lap napkins when we have dinner, because we generally always have dinner in front of the TV because we don't really have a proper dining room table. We just have a little bistro table that's nice for kind of solo meals during the day. We very seldom like sit and just stare at each other while we eat. I mean, not that we don't have plenty to talk about, but like even in restaurants, we don't really like to sit across from each other. We like to sit next to each other. So that's very unlike us. I will say it happened a lot more during the pandemic, but that was just the vibe, like staring at each other and being like, what the fuck? I'm sorry, I need to stop saying during the pandemic because the pandemic is very much still happening, but during like that full year of total lockdown. Yeah. Okay, so what else? This isn't too bad. Usually when things are really messy, there will be a bunch of like snacks just piled here instead of up in these cabinets where they really belong. Okay, so under there is kind of a mess of protein powders my sister sent us very kindly. She sent us a bunch just to make sure we were staying healthy, because I said that we were, sometimes having some anxiety around making sure we were eating enough and eating nutritiously enough while we've both been so busy. So that was super nice of her. But I need to like organize them more nicely. Again, plastic bags abound. I don't know what's up with that. I'm gonna take it up with HR. Yeah, because usually I'll show you. Usually we are paper bag people, but I am seeing more of these, so something must be up. We need to remember to bring our own grocery bags, our own canvas bags, because I guess maybe sometimes paper bags haven't been available. This is all just such a mess, so I'm not gonna think about it. Why is it that the cabinet made for cleaning is always such a mess? I need to take out the trash, and whenever I do that, I always give the trash can a nice sanitizing, disinfecting, wipe down, all that stuff to make sure it's not getting kind of like rusty and scuzzy inside, where sometimes like a pet peeve of mine is when the trash gets high enough that it touches the lid, like touches anything except the liner, really. That's something about which I'll complain. I'll be like, don't let the trash get so high that it, it's getting condensation or, getting kind of wet, whatever, on the lid and maybe rusting that inner hinge. That's the recycling. So I'm gonna swap out these bags. This is the required creepy ironing board. It exists in all vintage Los Angeles apartments, so we don't open that, especially because it definitely still has the fabric covering that one of the former residents made for it. And even if they're in all likelihood alive and well and just in another domicile, their next dwelling, it just gives ghost vibes. What can I say? Lots of dishes to do from last night. My partner has been sick, so lots of tea mugs. Yeah, I've been trying to take on more of the household stuff because he's really not feeling well. He's tested negative for COVID multiple times, so we think that he just ran himself down with lots of late nights and then maybe accidentally was given dairy on set, like via some not crafty, I guess it's the lunch. Some set lunch may have had dairy in it, even though he always asks, and that always makes him really, really sick. In his throat, interestingly enough. We talk about lactose intolerance in terms of like stomach issues. I feel like we don't talk about it very much in terms of like sinus, like inflammatory stuff that people can have like on an otolaryngological level, like ear, nose, and throat level. So yeah, lots of these around. And then this is just a receipt from the grocery. Sometimes we put them there when we need to remember to, tally things up, like split the bill via Venmo later on. Like one of us will grab groceries for the other and we figure that out later. Okay, so let's go into the bedroom. I'm really not going to show you too much of the hallway because, like, at least not close up, because that's his area. But there is a ring light out. So just showing you kind of what we've been up to a lot lately, where our foci have been, where our collective focus has been. Bathroom's not so bad. I tend to keep it pretty clean, but this self-tanner mitt needs to be washed before I put it away. I did not like intensely self-tan recently. I do use a mitt when I apply like gradual tanner, like the lotions, because I'm so pale I can't get away with even like the lightest self-tanner application. I can get streaks if I'm not really careful. So, and the trash bag is just because anytime the trash gets full, anytime I'm gonna take out the trash, I clean the toilet, no matter how recently I already did it, just cause, why not? Okay, so this is pretty shameful. If it sounds like it's raining, that's because we have a neighbor who will hose down literally the entire building. She will hose down the sides of the building and the driveway. Like this is a multi-story building, so you can hear it dripping down. And yeah, we're in the middle of a drought, but that's just, everyone has their quirks, and she's very up in arms about dust, like outside. I don't like dust either, but it's interesting. I don't know if I'd be ready to take on like the entire outside world. It's a bit like Don Quixote with the windmill. Okay, so these are clean clothes and clothes from photo shoots that, didn't get worn. So ipso facto, all clean clothes that need to be put away properly. Sometimes I don't feel so bad having like clean clothes on the floor. I don't love it. Like they're kind of perched atop these canvas bags, both of which have also been through the wash because I can just, throw them into the wash. This is supposed to be what we use for groceries. So there's a bit of a clue as to why there are more plastic bags recently, because it's full of my clean clothes that have yet to be put away. So I was saying it's not so bad because we do not eat or drink in this room. We do not wear our shoes ever in this room. And we're just also very careful even with socks, like to make sure that they're clean socks. Like the socks haven't been worn out there too much, because that can get dusty and it can get tracked in. Yes, I am one of those people who talks often about tracking things in dust, dirt, what else? Woodland creatures. Careful where you leave your crumbs, okay? So actually that sounds lovely. So a random paper towel, probably clean. I just like put them in my pockets as like a yet another neurosis. Like, I can use this later. I never feel better than when I'm clutching a paper towel. And I've seen my dad do it with napkins. The OCD runs in the family, y'all. Okay, I had my computer open for no reason. Everything's just kind of askew, like it looks like I was a set designer and they were like, okay, so the main character's apartment got, what's the word, ramshacked. So I just had a multi-stage epiphany that the word is ransacked, but I was too loud for the purpose of this video, so I'm going to move that footage to the bloopers at the end. But yes, my mental state, my physical world is a reflection of my mental state, ransacked. And I don't mean like obviously my apartment isn't that bad, but I just mean the kind of arbitrariness of some of this stuff where it's like, oh, it's a little bit askew. Like, how did that even organically happen? Am I really that much of a mess that I was like, I had to quickly like grab something off my computer, leaving a little trail of mess wherever I went. Forgot to explain that this was candy I got on set. This was a lanyard I got on set. Didn't even make the bed today. Looks like a little torpedo of covers. So I'm going to make that. It's been washed recently. It's only like 2 or 3 days old. And I did remove the pillowcases to wash them because they're so thin. Why wouldn't I just wash them while I'm washing other things? They'll fit into any load. And I don't know, just like when you have product in your hair, I think pillowcases should be washed as often as possible for the health of your facial skin, especially like that doesn't use more water. Like I understand not washing your sheets more often than you need to conserve water. But again, the pillowcases, they're never going to be the tipping point for a load. They're so small that they can just fit into whatever load you're already doing. So these boots are, this is the 4th plastic bag. I am ashamed. I hope that this will actually be a tipping point for me, because I don't know, you know, when you have something reflected back, you're like, wow, that's more than I thought. So too many plastic bags. I do always reuse them, but just say no, y'all. You know, make the demand go down. That's what I want to, that's the world I want to be part of. Also, not the tipping point, the turning point. I've had such brain fog since COVID. I'm going to try to work extra hard to just like, you know, exert myself verbally. I think I've gotten a little sloppy just because I do feel mentally fatigued. So I'm going to try to be more specific and do more crosswords and kind of, I don't know, expedite the dissipation of that brain fog. Look, I'm trying to impress you with my vocabulary right now because, you know, starts today. So the shoes need to be put away and these need to be cleaned because I wore them for a photo shoot. They're super dusty from the desert. Purse needs to be put away. You're like, Remy, we get it. Everything needs to be put away. We'll just assume. What needs to be put away? Oh, everything. This all needs to be put away. This is a fabric steamer that my partner took with us to San Diego for the wedding. That needs to be put away. This is a shoe box what's the word? This is a shoe box containing the heels, the other set of heels I used for that photo shoot. And then that's the ASOS bag in which ASOS bag in which that ASOS box lived high up in my closet for like over a year, maybe even 2 years. Those shoes are too big for me, and I was lying to myself about it for a long time because I loved them and I wanted it to work out, but they need to be sold or given away. It's just the truth and I need to face it. Mess. By the power of, just kidding. That seems kind of rude, but yeah, mess. My closet in general, especially in terms of what's hanging and what's up on the shelves, it is very organized. I recently did a total overhaul, but just because when life gets messy, the floor space of a closet tends to suffer. That all needs to be, those are all giveaways. Yeah. Too many shoes. Okay, so this is a commissioned prop. Like, our friend made this for my partner's upcoming short. Pretty exciting. He's going to do like a Stanley Kubrick, what's it called? A dolly zoom off this painting. So, kind of amazing, isn't it? I just can't believe it. She's incredible, the artist. As is my partner. You know, he has a really clever story idea, so I'm glad they're working together. What was I going to say? Oh, and we live in such a small apartment, or at least we have so little wall space, and we wanted to put it somewhere safe, so we just have it leaning against the wall in here. So yes, the room does smell quite a bit like drying paint, but we think it's okay. And over here we had a little station set up for him. I put some ibuprofen in this little container so it'd be easy to kind of feel for in the dark. He had some throat coat tea here and some water. Everything's just a bit of a mess. This is a sweatshirt that I put down just in case of spills, just to buy us a little time if he did spill his tea in the night. And that's all, folks. Wish me luck. I'm gonna need a lot of it. It's a big cleaning. My tongue got tripped up because I couldn't decide whether I was gonna say a big clean or a big cleaning day. Oh yeah, you've probably already seen bits and pieces of it, but this is the cleaning day fit. I know, style icon. So I've recently hit empty, so to speak, on several topicals. These are skincare products I completely used up. So first we have the Rock Retinol Correction Deep Wrinkle Night Cream. Sorry, retinol. And I think this is a subsidiary of, yeah, Johnson & Johnson. And then I used up the Paula's Choice 10% azelaic acid booster. This was my, I think, second time purchasing it, and I scraped it all out, cut it open to get to whatever was left inside the tube, and then I did the same thing for this unseen sunscreen. Made sure I got every last drop. As for what I repurchased, I got myself a new tube of the azelaic acid from Paula's Choice, and you know I re-upped on the unseen sunscreen. This is like my third or fourth tube at this point. I did not repurchase the Rock Deep Wrinkle Night Cream. It is not cruelty-free, and I just, I have other options for a retinol. The last thing I'll say, I'm not sure how to feel about the fact that the Paula's Choice tube had this liner inside. I would never have known had I not cut into it, and on one hand, the extra plastic is not environmentally friendly, so I don't feel great about that. On the other hand, it does indicate, like the value there, that they really do want you to get your money's worth and they don't want it to like dry out prematurely. So I don't know. Yeah, it's both both a positive and a negative, if that makes sense. But in general, this brand is really nice. I just really like the feeling of using things up, Okay. We're getting there. Slowly, but surely. I'm making a special point to show you the floor space so you can see the improvement, especially over here and all along here. Much better. I think I am a morning person because I don't feel like a lot more energy or anything like that, but I do feel much more goodwill toward other people at the start of the day. Like I'm just sitting parked on a busy street watching passersby, and everyone just looks adorable to me. Ask me again in 4 hours, and I'm sure that at least like 2 out of every... I got cut off, but yeah, ask me again in a few hours and I'll feel differently, I'm sure. It like declines throughout the day, maybe as I have experiences. I was talking to my therapist about a difficult relationship in my life, and I was like, they flagrantly disregarded a boundary I set, and they must know that they did that. So why are they confused that I've pulled away? And she said, I don't think that they think about you at all until they're not getting what they want from you. And that was hard, but helpful. They're not thinking about me, and they're not tracking it. Like they're not putting it together logically in their head. They're just noticing that they're not getting what they want when they want it from me. So many of you know that this Vanity, this desk with this matching mirror, it's a recent acquisition. I got it through a friend who sourced it for the set design of a TV show, and they no longer needed it when they finished filming. And for the purposes of, whatever scene they were doing, they put these vanity lights up all along the sides and top of the mirror. And I wanted to be very careful when I was taking them down, not to damage... Oh, my hand looks so pink in this filter. Not to damage the mirror. So I was using this plastic razor blade. These are great if you want to be extra careful not to scratch a surface, but you want to get gunk off it. Or in my case, you want to wedge something between an adhesive and a surface, or, something very tightly adhered to the surface. But clearly I got busy, and I abandoned the project, or I paused the project partway through. So I'm going to finish it real quick and show you how it looks without these silly silly light bulbs. I'm going to give the string of lights away because they still work perfectly and can be used for the exact same purpose by someone who actually wants that, you know. So I have to really wedge it in. It's not really safe to do one-handed, so I'll just show you this one. Really wedge it in there, and then I don't want to like just leverage it up right there because it could crack the wood here. So once it's loose enough, I'm going to actually pull down like that. Much better. Oh my goodness. That feels so good. I don't know about you, but I feel like that looks so much better. Nice and clean. My best friend sent me something in the mail. I don't want to show you the card because I don't want to show you my little nickname. I don't want to show you what she calls me, but yeah, I'm excited to open this. I'm pretty sure I know exactly what's inside, but it's no less exciting, no less thrilling. Let's take a little look together. There we go. Tissue paper. Okay, so if you watched my video on what I got for my birthday, from my friends for my birthday, then you already know. This is the rest of that coaster set. She wanted me to have enough for having people over, and I have a full matching set. So sweet. Look at those rainbow sprinkles. And there's actually one other little packet. I don't know if I can do it one-handed. Oh my goodness. How sweet. It's like my birthday all over again. It's June, my birthday is in February, so either we're celebrating half birthdays or I just have a really generous, really thoughtful friend. B. The answer is B, but we already knew that, right? So cute. I'm trying to let them hang so you can see, but I think because of the sort of button design of the anchors, they don't really hang free. They're kind of a stud, dangly hybrid. I love that. And the material is really nice. It feels almost like a clay. Like a little ceramic. Are they meant to be horseshoes? Or magnets? Or two little, like, abstract versions of my best friend and me? Let's go with that. Doesn't it look like two old friends just hanging out? Maybe they're dancing, maybe they're riding the bus. They're doing something together. Too cute. How sweet are these? These little stickers. As if the whole thing could get any sweeter. When I opened the card from my best friend, look what was inside. Two really sweet little vinyl stickers. Also, if you're ever wondering what I keep in this cabinet, it's just a lot of backups. Backup trash bags, backup soaps, some baby wipes, some first aid stuff and nail stuff, extra toothpastes, shaving cream and lotions, face wash, body wash, conditioner, and some biodegradable razors and floss. These are exciting. They're a helpful stopgap. You know, it's still waste, but if you wanted to stop using plastic razors and you're like me and you struggled to make the transition to using a straight razor in every situation, whatever shave scenario, you know, whether you're traveling or whatever, yeah, that was the case for me. So this box will last me a long time, and until I'm ready to make the transition to using a straight razor 100% of the time, these will make a great stopgap. This captioning filter, it doesn't use commas and it doesn't know that stopgap is one word, but I think it's really fun. What do you think? Oh, now you know. Okay, well, maybe I said it too slowly the first time. That's on me. So there's just there are just two other things I'd like to show you while we're in here. This product, I've been using it on my arms. My sister gave it to me, and I'm loath to switch up my face skin routine, my facial skincare. Just because when you find something that works, you know, you really want to be consistent with your face. And, you know, my arms and my chest, they get sun damage as well. And, you know, she sent me more products than I could possibly use in the coming months, even years. So I figured, why not try this on my arms? And I've been liking it. I'll let you know what the results are in the long term. And then this I have been using on my thighs just to clear up, you know, those ingrowns that you can get, even like just the kind of strawberry skin from years of shaving. You know, sometimes it just gets so trapped, especially that finer, downier hair that you can sometimes have on your thigh, as opposed to, in my experience, the thigh hair can be a little finer than the hair that grows on our lower legs. It could be different person to person, but sometimes it's the finer hair that's more likely to become ingrown. Obviously, it has a lot to do with the curl pattern of the hair, which is why you may be more prone to ingrowns in the bikini area. But I was surprised to learn that it can also happen with straight hair, specifically with fine straight body hair. If it's fine enough, then it may actually have trouble forcing its way out of a teeny tiny pore, if that makes sense. So yeah, my electrologist taught me that. So this has been working fabulously. And I just apply it to my thighs, front and back, before bed every other night. And it's super affordable, as all products from The Ordinary are, relatively speaking. So do you remember those bags that were sitting at the bottom of my closet? This is what was inside all those bags. So speaking of which, that means that my closet is in a much better state now. Yeah, it's pretty organized. It just looks messy because these robes hang here on these hooks I installed to maximize, you know, my storage space. And then this is just like my hamper, essentially. I just use this hanging bag as that. I'll do a closet tour some other day if you're interested. Let me know. It's pretty well organized. It's just so small that it's never gonna have like the optics. It's never gonna look glamorously, like sparsely, you know, perfectly appointed. So back to this whole mess. So the reason these shoes are pulled aside, they were in bags, is that I am selling them, giving them away. Very sad. Can you tell that I have an obsession with shoes that lace up? So much so that even shoes that seem different still have that one feature. So the issue with most of them I've never even worn. And the strangest thing happened the last few years. When I was in high school, I wore a size 8. And in the years since, I started wearing a 7.5, and then a 7, and then now I'm at a 6.5. And I don't know if I was just really missizing myself all along, or please explain to me if your feet can in fact shrink. Am I just that tightly wound as a person? But for most of them, the problem is actually twofold. They are the wrong size, but also they're just too tall for me. Like a lot of the shoes that I decide to give away, well, I mean, this is something I've learned and now I won't make this mistake in the future, but over the years I bought shoes for myself and I just never really felt like wearing them, and I figured out it's just that they're too high on the ankle. I'm a pretty petite person, so sometimes a boot that's kind of an ankle cut for someone else is kind of restrictive and hits me in a weird place. So that's the case for definitely these two, because I love the look of both these boots, especially these. I mean, come on, I love this ox blood. They have really cool details. I really tried to make these work more than any other shoes here. And then actually these two, they're a little shorter as you can tell, but they're puffy. Like, I know that these features, you know, around the ankle, the kind of padding, they're meant to make the shoes more comfortable. I don't think it's flattering. I don't think it's comfortable. Again, it just hits me in exactly the wrong spot. So yeah, these are really sweet. They're kind of purple. They're very clean, but they just look kind of dirty because of how the light's hitting this faux velvet. But they're really sweet. Again, just a little too big for comfort. And then these are really sweet, but they're actually purple suede. And I'm unhappy when I wear real suede or leather. And I know that's funny because a lot of people like it. It connotes real, I don't know, quality and luxury, and I don't know, it just makes me sad. And what was I gonna say? Yeah, so I think these were my sisters. I think my mom bought. I got them when I was like 14 or 15, and I think they were secondhand. And I just think my sister never really wore them. I don't remember, but I've had them for a while. I just remember that Emily Ratajkowski, W Magazine ASMR interview, you know, she talks about like the Italian leather made in a really small factory and like what a special thing that is. And I don't know, I just like, I don't relate at all, you know, when like you can tell that someone is on a completely different wavelength about something. And that's always been lost on me when people are like, ooh, this supple leather. And I'm like on some level, I know that like a man-made leather, it's not the same. And it doesn't feel the same, and it doesn't hold up as well. And obviously it involves a much more plasticated material, or, you know, plastic somewhere in the process, almost always, even if vegetable, like husks, even if vegetable matter is being used. So, you know, I'm as excited as anyone for the day that there's something that really feels comparable, you know, on an environmental level, and also in terms of how it wears over time and how it feels, you know, from the very beginning. I'm excited for that day to come, for something like that to be plant derived. Speaking of synthetic leathers, that brings us to these. This stacked heel, really fun, embossed, just again a little too high for me, not very comfortable. I don't think this design is like cool as it is. I don't think it's very flattering on me. Funny enough, I do think Kylie Jenner had and at some point sold this
exact, like not this exact, but a pair of this same shoe. Yeah, that's something I found out later. That's not a point of appeal for me. I hope that's okay to say. That's neither here nor there for me, but interesting, you know, because I definitely didn't, you know, I just got them off like Nasty Gal, and I guess so did she. So, great minds think alike, you know. But, yeah, I don't really keep up with the Kardashians, so I wasn't in the know until I saw her selling them after the fact. So I held on to all of these shoes in spite of the fact that I just knew they weren't working. They were taking up space in my closet because I just couldn't accept that, hello, couldn't accept that they weren't going to work out. And as you can see, my closet is very small, so it was time to pull the plug, time to say goodbye. And, you know, most of them are in like near perfect condition. So I'm hoping that someone else can give them a better life, you know. They can actually get worn, unlike Toni Collette's shoes in the first act of, what's that movie called? In Her Shoes. I also just want to say for the record that I cleaned the bottoms of all the shoes, and I will clean this desktop after the fact, and I'll give them all another pass. I'm gesticulating a lot so that hopefully you can get some extra visual interest out of that. But yeah, I'm going to give them all another round of wipe down. I'm going to clean them once more before taking them to either consignment or donation. Yeah. Oh, and then the last pair of shoes I want to show you. Earlier I talked about those shoes in a box right over there. These are, these are they. Again, they lace up. I don't even think about it because like they look so different, but ipso facto, they all do lace up. Very strange. So yeah, aren't these fun? It's a pity that they are just massive on me, just so big, like clown shoes. And they'll look amazing on a larger footed person, and I have to let them go. So I'm sad about the waste, but I'm also happy to be at a point in my life where I know when a shoe fits properly and when it really doesn't, and I can nip it in the bud, you know? They're so soft, too. The material is really soft. Oh, so you thought I was joking about being completely obsessed with lace-up shoes. So here's a bag of shoes I took with me to a recent photo shoot. My friend said it was going to be Western themed, vaguely. So I brought some boots to try out. And here's one pair. And here's another. What do you know? I mean, I will say, like, I don't know if you can tell, but they are a very similar shape. Different brands, but just like this is more along the lines of what tends to work for me in terms of kind of rise of the shoe, the general shape. Clearly it's a kind of toe shape that I like, stacked heel, and obviously both of these, I mean, I don't know if it's obvious, but they are at least half a size smaller than most of these, maybe even a full size. So yeah, just more right for me. But yes, I do certainly have a problem, and I see that now.
Hello, sleepyheads. It's time for another edition of Unintentional Style. Unintentional. Ooh, there's a mockingbird fighting with a squirrel. Oh, I think that mockingbird was protecting its nest, maybe? I think it's a mockingbird looking at the shape of its body, but I can't quite see its coloring from here. Wow. Wow, did you hear that? I think you may have a big drama happening on some telephone wires overhead. Wow. And now that bird is just like nothing happened. Ramshacked. Okay, so clearly, mentally, I am as messy and cluttered as I am physically. Ransacked. Oh my God, y'all. Ransacked. But, like, how much visual interest is too much visual interest, you know?